Hello, my Wolfpack, and welcome back to my channel. God, my hair really pokes out in this mess, doesn't it? It's an unruly mess. Yeah, whatever. Today my video is I want to continue the fan casting video that I did for Batman for the DCU. And I want to add at the end of it's going to be one extra fan cast, quote unquote, that I think is not necessarily a fan cast. It's just a fucking obvious casting. But here is my... Everybody wants to cast Nightwing and Red Hood and Tim Drake Robin and Barbara Batgirl. There are 3 BatFamily adjacent characters. They are part of the BatFamily. They are not as conversed about as other members are. I want to fan cast for the DCU in hopes that maybe we get something with them, whether that's, a streaming show of their own, a little animated movie, something. So that because of it's the DCU, these actors can not only play them in live action, but they can voice any kind of animated movie, series, game, voice in a game, whatever happens, they show up in. But these are my 3 actors for these 3 characters. And then, like I said, at the end of it is going to be a bonus, not DCU related fan cast thing that I want to talk about, because something that's kind of it's peeving me a bit. It's perturbing me a little bit. So the first fan, cast is Batwoman. I know there was a CW show. The first season starred Ruby Rose. I don't remember who the first season, because they recast because Ruby Rose couldn't handle the role, couldn't handle the going back and forth to Vancouver or wherever they were, wherever in Canada they were shooting at. It wasn't a fit for her. But this is going to be for the DCU. This is going to be a bigger, better Batwoman. And my fan cast for this is Kristen Stewart. How everybody knows her from the Twilight Saga. She played the lead actress, the lead role for that, Bella or whatever her name was. I am a fan of hers from a little, not indie horror movie per se, but it was a horror movie that went under the radar. It's called Underwater. And it was a lead role for her, and she was fantastic in it. She played the character, has she read the role, and I think that's something that Kristen Stewart does, and that a lot of actors these days kind of don't. They read the role and they play the role to their own strengths, and I think Kristen has this quiet vulnerability to her. Vulnerability that people mistake as being meek or whatever, but I think it can be confident and tough, which is what Kate Kane needs. She needs this. Kate has had a trauma in her life, and the way she deals with it is kind of by putting on airs of being really, really tough, but also being extremely vulnerable when she's around somebody she trusts, and I think Kristen could pull that off. And that is something that I think Batwoman needs, and I think Kristen could do it, and I think because of the fact that, Batwoman is canonically a queer character, and Kristen Stewart is also a queer actress, I feel like that's going to be just a really damn good matchup. And I also think that she has the energy to match anything that, Andy Muschietti or whoever is going to be bringing these characters to the big screen. I think she can give this character a lot of meat to work with. So that's my fan cast for Batwoman. Second one is Lucas Fox Batwing. He's the second Batwing. The first one was during the Batman Incorporated, run by Grant Morrison. And this Batwing was in Africa, I think it was, but I don't remember the name of the character. So I'm doing the Gotham City Batwing number 2. Lucas Fox, who is the son of Lucius Fox in the comics. And my casting choice for him is Michael B. Jordan. Wholeheartedly, like, Batwing in the comics, Lucas is just as much of a tech genius as his dad is, and I think that needs to be covered over. And I know they tried to, when Michael B. Jordan was cast in the role of Johnny Storm in the darker, edgier, like, Fantastic Four stick, they tried to make, his Johnny was a pilot, and he's a mechanic, and he's, really fucking smart. And I think this role of Batwing would give Jordan, not that he needs any kind of redemption, don't get this twisted. He doesn't need any kind of redemption, but this will give him, something to show that he can play a smart guy, play somebody with some intelligence. He did that definitely a lot, and I think which is Stack. Smoker Stack. I can't remember which one, because they both have kind of the same levels of intelligence, but one of them, and because it's been a minute since I've seen Sinners, but one of them was like really good with tactics, and one of them could appeal to, different motivations, but one of them was really good with planning out things. And I think Batwing would give Michael B. Jordan a chance to take that, the ability to think ahead and plan and be a tactics person, and also be really fucking tech savvy, and let him roll with that. So that's Batwing, somebody I want to see. I want to see a more expanded Bat family in the DCU, not just the core ones. I want to see, like, Batman's influence has reached not just all of Gotham, but even, other areas. And I think these 3 characters would give you a good sense of that. So the third character that I'm going to talk about is the actor is Dark. I can't pronounce his first name. Darkay Montgomery. He played Jason the Red Ranger in the Power Rangers movie reboot from a few years back that had Bryan Cranston as Zordon. He was really good in that. A lot of folks know him as the asshole stepbrother from seasons 2 and 3 of Stranger Things. I don't remember the character's name right top of my, even though I'm rewatching season 2 at the moment. I don't remember his name because he's an asshole. He's racist. He's a dick. But I feel like Mr. Montgomery the character I'm looking at him to play is Jean-Paul Valley, who in the comic books is a character called Azrael. He is a somewhat religious zealot who has been trained by this order of monks called the Order of Saint Dumas. As a vigilante to he is an even more extreme version of Moon Knight, and not Moon Knight from the MCU, not the Moon Knight Light, but Moon Knight from the comics, the very aggressive vigilante who will stop at nothing to deal with the problem in front of him. Azrael's a lot like that, and actually, in fact, not the recent comics, not the, DC All In of the new stuff, or even New 52, or Rebirth, but the comics that predate New 52. He replaced Bruce Wayne Batman, as Batman after Bane broke Bruce Wayne's back. He was a more aggressive, violent Batman. And eventually when Bruce came back and took the mantle, he had to beat Azrael, Jean-Paul, to basically banish him from Gotham. And eventually, without getting too much into a character depth analysis or whatever, he eventually kind of got back and rehabilitated himself. And I don't know that the newer versions of his character are that extreme, but it'd be interesting to see that kind of extreme vigilanteism played out in the DCU, especially since we kind of see it with Peacemaker and the show in Peacemaker, but not only just that with Vigilante. Like, Vigilante in the show is a sociopath. He's hilarious, don't get me wrong. He is, in my opinion, DCU's Peacemaker and Vigilante, especially Vigilante, is who Deadpool thinks he is. But he's definitely a sociopath and definitely has no qualms with killing even, sometimes innocent people. He shouldn't, but he has no problems with that. And I think Azrael's kind of along the same lines. But I think Azrael would be darker and less funny, which I think would be really good to see this character brought to the big screen and make an interesting dynamic for, if there's two extremes, it's Batman and then Azrael, and then Red Hood kind of falls somewhere in the middle, and then make good comparison points in the movies between Batman and how he handles his war on crime, and Red Hood and how he handles it, and then Azrael and how he handles it. It's be really fucking interesting. I feel like. Excuse me for a second. I need to hydrate because I'm thirsty. Really hard to take a drink in this mask. Anyways. So that's my 3 BatFamily adjacent fan casts for the DCU to hit. Also, this is the bonus content, is that Amazon is apparently preparing to make a live action God of War series for their, Prime streaming service, which from what I understand, they're doing pretty good with Fallout, and Fallout's getting ready for a second season. They've done really good with Invincible and The Boys. But the casting for that has been kind of up in the air, and I kind of feel like if you're going to cast Kratos, and if you're not going to go back and make a story of the first 3 games, if your series is going to be based on the 2 newer games that came out, which is God of War and then God of War Ragnarok, why not cast Kratos himself, Christopher Judge, as Kratos? Let him play the role. He's already doing the voice. He's got the body for it. I mean, if you've seen the man, that man's goals. Like that, he's in fantastic shape. Excuse me. For a person his age. Unless they're looking to get maybe a little bit younger, which I don't know who they cast. But why not get Christopher Judge? Why not let him play the role in live action? He was so damn good at voice and the commanding presence. He could really play that character on TV. He is a TV actor. He's playing things. Stargate SG-1 was what I knew him from first. Why not let him play Kratos? That's just my personal opinion, but whatever. Anyways, thank you all for watching. If you like what you see, give it a like. Give me a subscribe. Help me grow my channel. Comment. Let me know what your thoughts. Who are your fan casts for the DCU? Let me know down below. Also, share. I'm trying to grow the channel, so please share. And until then, have a wonderful day. Bye.